So in this video, we're going to be talking about the lateral, surface area, and volume of prisms with different bases. A few things I want you to remember back from when you did 3D figures previously. The edge of a 3D figure is going to be the line segments that connect the faces or make the faces of our 3D figure. The base of the figure is going to be the flat piece, the flat edges of your shape, and then the last thing is your vertex, and this is where those edges meet or where the lines of the shape meet. You also might know this as a corner. Surface area, lateral area, and volume are going to be all the things we're finding with our formula. So surface area is going to be the area of all of the faces added together. And to think about what this is, it's like when you wrap a present, when you cover all of the faces of that present, that's surface area. Lateral area is going to be the area of the faces added together without the top and the bottom. Without the top and the bottom. So the best way to think about this is a can. And you think about the label on the can, how it only covers the sides of the can, it doesn't cover the top and the bottom. The last one we've got on here is volume, and volume is going to be the amount of space within an object. So if we're filling a glass with water, that would be volume. Okay, another word you may hear it as is capacity. So if you're asked for capacity or how much something can hold, it's talking about volume. The first prism we're going to talk about is the rectangular prism. Now on your formula sheet, it deals with length, width, and height, but it only gives you surface area and volume. It does not give you a lateral area. So instead of following those, I want you to go to your formula sheet and actually X them out and arrow over to the triangular prism, which is right next to it. And we're going to use those formulas because it will apply to this rectangular prism. So the first one is the lateral area, which is going to be the height times the perimeter. So our height will be the height of the prism. With the rectangular prism, it's always going to be the orientation you're looking at, so it's going to be the one that's vertical there. The perimeter is going to be the perimeter of the base. So for this shape, because it's a rectangle, it's 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. So that's our lateral area. For our surface area, it's going to be height times perimeter, so the lateral area plus 2 times the base. So the base is going to be the area of the base. And in this case, because it's a rectangle, it's going to be length times width. Our last thing there is volume, and volume is going to be big B, which is the area of the base, times the height of the prism. Okay? So let's take a look at our first example. For big B, it's going to be the area of the base. So notice the flat piece here on top is also the flat piece at the bottom. So our area of the base is length times width. So we're going to have 9 times 10, or 90, and this would be inches squared, kind of real close there, but inches squared. Okay, and then we've got the perimeter. And remember, we get perimeter 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. So 2 times 9 plus 2 times 10 gives us 18 plus 20, or 38 inches. And then our height is the piece that is vertical, or 5. So our lateral area is going to be height times perimeter. So in this case, my height was blue, my perimeter was green. So we're going to get 5 times 8, which gives us a total of 190. Now this is area, so it should be inches squared. For our surface area, it's going to be height times our perimeter plus 2 times our big B. So our height was 5, our perimeter was 38, and then 2 times 90. And we'll type that right into Desmos or our calculator, and we'll find that we've got 370 inches squared. The last piece is volume, and it's going to be big B times our height. And when we do big B was 90, H was 5. We're going to get 450 inches. Now we're in volume, so cubed. Now you can use those formulas that are listed on your formula sheet. The only one that's not there is lateral area. So keep that in mind. You should get the same answer, but I strongly suggest using these. All right, so again, we're going to go based off of the orientation here. So our big B is going to be the area of our base. So 8 times 12, which gives us 96 inches squared. Our perimeter is going to be 2 times 8 plus 2 times 12. So that's 16 plus 24, which equals 40. And our height is the piece we haven't used yet, so 15. All right, for our lateral area, we're going to do height times perimeter, which is equal to 15 times 40, which gives us 600. And we're area, so feet squared. For our surface area, we're going to do height times perimeter again, equals, plus 2 times our big B, which would give us 15 times 40 plus 2 times 96. And we'll type that straight into our calculators. And we'll get 792 feet squared. Our last one here is volume, and we're going to do big B times H, which gives us 96 times 15, or 1,440 feet cubed. Okay, so that was the rectangular prism. Now let's look at the triangular prism and the hexagonal prism. So these are going to use the same formulas we just used. So the lateral area, we're going to have height times the perimeter, just as before. The surface area will have height times perimeter plus 2 times the big B. And the volume will still be big B times our height. But now where we're getting these pieces are going to be a little bit different. H will still be the height of the prism. And this is going to be the piece that is on the rectangular shape. So see how here we've got the height and here we've got the height. Okay, it's not the one on the actual hexagon or the actual triangle. The perimeter is going to equal adding up all the sides. That's all you got to know. So perimeter of base. And here we're just going to add up all the sides, which we could have done with the rectangle, but the formula we used previously was a little bit easier. And then we've got big B, which is area of the base. Now this will be different depending on which shape we have. So if we have the triangle, our area is going to be 1/2 base times height. If we have the hexagon, you look on your formula sheet, we're going to use the first one. It's going to be 3 square root of 3 over 2 times the side squared. Okay? So again, it depends on which shape we're looking at for which base we need. So here in example 3, the first thing I'm doing is identifying what it is. So I'm using a triangle here. It's got a triangular base. So I know that my base is going to be 1/2 base times height. This is the base of the triangle and the height of the triangle. So here's the base of my triangle. So this is little b. And this is the height of my triangle, not the height of the prism. All right, so I can find my area of my base. It's 1/2 times 2 times 2, or 2 inches squared. Now my perimeter, I need to add up all the sides. But I don't have this piece yet. But we do know that this is a right triangle. So we're going to say 2 squared plus 2 squared is equal to x squared. Now I'm going to solve this by hand, but you could easily type this into a calculator. So I've got 4 plus 4, or 8, is equal to x squared. And then I'm going to take the square root of both sides. 2 and 4, 2 and 2. And I'm going to take out my pieces. So I get 2. I got a pair of 2's that come outside the radical, and a 2 left on the inside. So I get 2 square root of 2 as my back piece there. Again, if I typed this into a calculator and got a decimal, you could have typed it into decimals and gotten a decimal. I get 2.8. So I'll use 2.8 there, but 2 square root of 2 is exact. So my perimeter I get by adding up all my pieces. So 2 plus 2 plus 2.8 gives me 6.8. And the height is 4. Now I plug in all my pieces. So for my lateral area, it's going to be my height. Let me change the color there so I have a different color for the height. I'm going to have my height times my perimeter, which equals 6.8 times 4. I did it out of order, but remember, multiplication is indeed commutative. So it's okay that I did them out of order. We'll still get the same answer. We're going to find that is 27.2 inches squared. Okay, then we're going to do our surface area. So height times perimeter plus 2 times the area of the base. So we're going to have 4 times 6.8 plus 2 times big B, which was also 2. And we'll get our final answer there to be, when we type it all in, 31.2 inches squared. And for our last piece volume, we're going to take our big B and we're going to multiply by our height, which will give us 2 times 4, or 8 inches cubed. Our next example here is another triangle. So our area of our base is going to be 1/2 base times height, which they've given us. The base is 8, the height is 4. So we've got 1/2 times 8 times 4, which gives us 16. They didn't give us a unit, so I'll put units squared. Now for the perimeter, we've got to find this third side of the triangle. And in order to do that, we're going to use Pythagorean Theorem. So we know that this is cutting down, and I'm telling you that it's isosceles. So this is 4 here. So we're going to say 4 squared plus 4 squared equals x squared to get the side. You're going to type it right into decimals. I'm not going to solve this one by hand. And we'll find that x is equal to 5.7. So this side is 5.7 and this side is 5.7. So we're going to have 8 plus 5.7 plus 5.7 to give us 19.4. And then our height is the height of the prism, or the rectangular face, which is 18. Our lateral area is going to be height times perimeter. So we've got 18 times 19.4. Which gives us 380 249.2 units squared. For our surface area, we're going to do our height times our perimeter is equal to, oh, nope, sorry, plus 2 times big B. So we're going to have 18 times 19.4 plus 2 times 16. Which will give us 381.2 units squared. And for our last one here, our volume is going to be big B times our height, which gives us 16 times 18, or 288 units cubed. Our last example here is an octagon. Sorry, not an octagon, a hexagon. So we're using a different base. Our formula for our base is 3 square root of 3 divided by 2 times our side squared. So that's going to be 3 square root of 3 over 2 times our side of our hexagon, which is 8. And when we type that in, we're going to get 166.3 centimeters squared. For our perimeter, we would just multiply 8 by 6 because it's a regular hexagon to get 48 centimeters. And for our height, we've got 5. Again, that's the piece that is our rectangle. So our lateral area will be height times perimeter, which is equal to 5 times 48, which gives us 240 centimeters squared. For our surface area, we're going to have height times perimeter is equal to, oh, sorry, I keep saying equal to, plus 2 times big B is equal to 5 times 48 plus 2 times 166.3, which gives us a value of 572.6 centimeters squared. And for our volume, we will do big B times our height, which gives us 166.3 times 5, which equals 831.5 centimeters cubed, because this is volume. If you have any further questions, please make sure you see me in class.